Mike Laporte back with you on the Rural Radio Network, and we have another in our series of interviews that we are doing this week during National FFA Week, where we are visiting with leaders in the ag community that have got some FFA ties. And on the line here with us is Don Caldwell, who is the communications manager, the corporate manager for Aurora Co-op, visiting with her from the office in Aurora today. And Don, we want to kind of get your overview on FFA. As I understand it, you did not participate when you were in school, but you certainly have been participating since in a variety of different ways. So kind of tell us your story.
Well, I didn't get to. I went to a very small school, so I was fortunate to have a great 4-H experience growing up, but FFA was not an opportunity available to me. And so as I went through high school and went off to college to major in animal science, I found that kids who had been very active in FFA were greatly ahead of me in terms of who they knew, how to accomplish things, ag leadership in general. And I was probably a semester to a year behind those kids, and did obviously, worked my way up to catching up with them, being a competitive person. But I want to make sure, knowing that was the case for me, I want to make sure all rural kids have that opportunity. I just think it's so important that we have kids excited about agriculture and leadership and taking a role in the future of Nebraska.
Now, you can tell us firsthand about some of that, because as I understand it, right now you have a couple of children that are in the program. Tell us about that.
I do. I have a daughter who's a junior and a son who's a freshman. They are part of the Sandy Creek FFA chapter, which is a fairly new chapter in the state, but definitely growing with leaps and bounds. And we're pretty involved in the creed speaking, the public speaking, the ag sales type contests, and you throw in some livestock judging and other things. But the ag classroom work too is just, I'm so impressed with what we have made available to the kids at that school, and I'm really jealous of my kids, quite honestly. So, they bring home their responsibilities to practice and whatever, and I stay involved with them as the ag sales coach for their teams for district and state FFA contests. And
so what they have really gleaned from it so far has been pretty valuable as far as you can tell.
It has. We started for them. People familiar with FFA know that kids have an SAE, or Supervised Agricultural Educative Experience, and our kids are doing beef. And through that, they have started a seed stock Red Angus herd. And what they've learned through FFA has just been invaluable in helping them to grow that herd, speak to customers, market their animals, and become successful just in the short number of years they've been working on it.
Now, on a different level, let's talk about how Aurora Co-op gets involved with the FFA program.
Well, my job at Aurora Co-op is really fun because I get to allocate donation dollars and decide what's important for us to support. And very obviously, we would support youth agriculture all throughout Nebraska, and what a better way to do that than through FFA. We have, this past year, participated in I Believe in the Future of Ag campaign. We supplied judges for different district contests and state contests. We support different proficiency degree awards. And so through our tagline, Growing Opportunities, everything about us is to help assure a future for agriculture, and FFA is a huge part of that.
Now, I didn't mention in our in our introduction that you are also a member of the Nebraska Beef Council, and I know that the Beef Council is very FFA friendly.
Very much so, and again, it's just that core belief that young people are the future of agriculture, and we need to keep them excited and keep them well educated to be able to take over as other folks retire and assure a future food supply, if nothing else, for our world.
Common Ground in Nebraska is something else that you are involved with, and when we talk about kind of getting people involved to tell the story of agriculture, that is pretty much that's the definition of what that is, isn't it?
It is. It's the core grassroots movement, if you will, and it's just having that conversation about food and where food comes from, and common ground volunteers like myself happen to be farm wives, but we are wives and we are moms and we are everything that anyone who might be generations from the farm is, but we live on the farm, and so we can talk about that and what it means to grow the food that we're eating and providing for everyone else, and just sureness and safety and those kinds of things. And so it's really, really fun to bond with other women, have those conversations, and do something really good for agriculture for all of our neighbors.
Now, Dawn, since you are very comfortable visiting with folks about giving back in one form or another, I know there are many, many people out there that have gleaned a great deal from the FFA program, and perhaps even owe their careers, or at least the good start that they got in those careers to the FFA, and perhaps they say, well, maybe I ought to give back somehow. And I know that there are a number of different ways that we could do that. Give us some suggestions.
I think first, certainly time, whether it's your local chapter to volunteer as a coach or a mentor of some sort, but definitely financially. And I know that from working with our Nebraska FFA Foundation, we really are a hand-to-mouth organization. And so to be able to sustain the program and grow the program, we need dollars, and so we want to have the right judges and the right rewards and the right opportunities for the kids, and it does take dollars to make that happen. And so, for every $25 turned in, something else can be done. And so I would encourage, anyone to remember what FFA did for them and however they can give back, whether it's a field trip day to their ranch during embryo transfer or AI, or if it's a field plot opportunity, maybe they can donate an acre for a chapter to use, or if it's monetary. All of it is greatly, greatly appreciated.
Well, we thank you for taking the time to visit with us here today. Dawn Caldwell is from the Aurora Co-op, the Director of Corporate Communications there, and visiting with us about her FFA experience on a number of different levels here during National FFA Week. I'm Mike Laporte.